What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, and we back at y'all with another one. So, Big George Foreman, former heavyweight champion of the world, Hall of Famer, chimed in, gave his thoughts on Anthony Joshua upset loss, should I say, to Andy Ruiz Jr. This past Saturday. George Foreman had some interesting things to say. He stated that Anthony Joshua, for one, needs a new trainer. For two, Anthony Joshua needs a new manager. And for three, Anthony Joshua needs to stay as far away from Andy Ruiz Jr. as possible. He says, if he was Anthony Joshua's manager, he would keep Anthony Joshua as far away from Andy Ruiz as possible. He says he's seen Anthony Joshua's training methods. He says those are bad training methods. He has bad habits. He alluded to the fact that he's seen Anthony Joshua doing the neck exercises where he got his head on the canvas and putting all his weight on his neck. He said he's been telling people since he first witnessed that this kid is going to get knocked out. He said this kid is going to get knocked out because putting that weight and that stress on your neck allows you to get knocked out. He referenced Sonny Liston used to do that. He says that's why you see Muhammad Ali clipped him, and Sonny Liston was never the same. He says that there's a strong possibility if Anthony Joshua doesn't do the right things and make the right adjustments, that he'll never be the same. He says, but definitely fighting Andy Ruiz Jr. again is a horrible. He said it's a horrible decision. He says that he should stay far away from Andy Ruiz Jr. as possible, especially if he doesn't make changes, because how could you beat Andy Ruiz Jr. if you don't know what you did wrong the first time? If you don't understand what you did wrong the first time and you can't make the adjustments, then how could you beat him the second time? He says he's only going to get better as he fought on a short notice. He says now that Andy Ruiz will have a long training camp, right? He's going to be even better. He only had 5 weeks to prepare for Anthony Joshua. So Anthony Joshua had time to prepare for him. Even though Anthony Joshua had to switch opponents because Jarrell Big Baby Miller was his first option. But with that said, George Foreman says that Anthony Joshua has very bad habits and he needs to fix them. And if he doesn't fix them, he's going to get knocked out by Andy Ruiz again. He'll never be the same. He says that he needs somebody like me in his corner. He needs somebody like me to manage him. He says he could definitely come back and he could be better than what he was. He says, but he has to want to make the changes. So I agree with George Foreman. Everybody's been saying that, Anthony Joshua's trainer, Rob McCracken, no disrespect to him, but he's an amateur trainer. He didn't know how to make the adjustments. There's a lot of flaws in Anthony Joshua's game that he hasn't made adjustments to. There's rumors that he's been knocked out in sparring. Then there's been confirmations that he's been knocked out in sparring. He's chinny, and he has stamina issues. George Foreman alluded to the fact that he thinks that he needs to make a change with his training regimen, as all of those muscles demand too much oxygen. You don't need all of those big muscles. You don't need to lift heavy weights, right? It looks good on the scales, but it doesn't win fights. So George Foreman says that he needs somebody like me to help him to make adjustments if he really wants to be in this game. He says, but George Foreman says, but he made a lot of money to this point, so maybe he doesn't fancy being successful in the sport of boxing anymore. Maybe he's just happy with where he's at and all the money he's earned. And he ride off into the sunset. He says, but taking this rematch with Andy Ruiz is a horrible decision. He needs to change his team, the people around him, because they don't understand that his styles make fights, and it's a bad matchup. When you get all these types of professionals, such as George Foreman, Andre Ward, you get, Lennox Lewis, Evander Holyfield, greats that just Malik Scott. They say that Andy Ruiz is just a bad style matchup. So there's changes you need to make from all levels and all different eras. Because George Foreman is from a totally different era than Lennox Lewis and well, Lennox Lewis came in as George Foreman was on the way out. That was the second part of his second career. But Andre Ward and Malik Scott weren't in George Foreman's era. So you have professionals that look and understand what they saw. Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury said it's a bad style matchup, and he wouldn't take the fight, and he feels like Andy Ruiz is going to win in the rematch, hands down. Now George Foreman is saying Andy Ruiz is going to win in the rematch, hands down. You know, I understand that Anthony Joshua is going to want to prove everybody wrong, and rightfully so. But sometimes you need to listen, right? And if you got all of these people, experts, ex-professionals, Teddy Atlas is one, said that, so you got a lot of people that said Anthony Joshua needs to make some changes, some adjustments, because they haven't seen much adjustments in his career from the beginning to now. And I agree. Dillian White, another one. Dillian White lost to Anthony Joshua, but he also clipped Anthony Joshua before he himself got clipped. Dillian White has made changes. Dillian White is not the same fighter from that Joshua fight. Joshua is somewhat the same fighter. Now, Joshua has added wrinkles to his game. Like I said, that I love that jab that he has to the solo plex. But so he's added wrinkles to his offensive game, but he hasn't added any changes to his defensive game. He hasn't made any adjustments to that. And so with that, he's paying the Pied Piper for that. He was clipped and hurt by Vladimir Klitschko. He was clipped and hurt by Dillian White. He was clipped and hurt by Alexander Povetkin. He was clipped and hurt by Carlos Takam. He was clipped and hurt, obviously, by Andy Ruiz and dropped 4 times. There hasn't been too many changes. You understand what I'm saying? So with that said, I think that it is time for Anthony Joshua to make some sort of changes. You don't have to get rid of Rob McCracken. Maybe you just make adjustments. Bring in somebody else, another set of eyes to help you make adjustments. You know what I'm saying? But like Tyson Fury is saying, he need not to take this rematch yet. George Foreman says he need not to take this rematch yet. A lot of guys are feeling like this is a bad style matchup. It will always be a bad style matchup because of the Andy Ruiz hand speed, willing to exchange with Anthony Joshua, and his counterpunching ability. And that of Anthony Joshua lack of defense. And he's chinny. And he has stamina issues. So, your physique look great on the scales, but when it comes down to the fight game, it doesn't help you. And I think it's definitely time for him to make changes as far as his physique and his approach to the game. But let's see what happens, man. So Big George Foreman says that if he takes the rematch with Andy Ruiz, he's going to lose. He says that there's a lot of changes he needs to make if he wants to be successful. But if he's just happy with the money he made, hey, he could ride off into the sunset. But if I was his manager, George Foreman, then I would not go into a rematch with Andy Ruiz. That's a bad decision. But that's all I got for y'all, man. Drop a comment in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think, man. This your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV. Hate, like, comment, and subscribe. You haven't subscribed? Hit the subscribe button. Hit the like button. Hit the bell icon to get all the new notifications. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all one word. Y'all already know what it is. Shouts out to the entire LDBC. Shouts out to New Media. Shouts out to Black Media Roll. Make sure you like and share this video. That's all I got for y'all. Peace.